Assalamu alaikum, dear students. So today we are going to go for color grading, and we are going to see how color grading actually works. Um, देखिए बात ये है कि कलर ग्रेडिंग स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम द कैमरा फ्रॉम द टाइम यू शूट. कलर ग्रेडिंग इज नॉट समथिंग कि जिसको आप ये सोचोगे कि आप डायरेक्टली आप अडोबी प्रीमियर के अंदर आप उसको कलर ग्रेडिंग आप यहाँ से आप स्टार्ट करोगे आप आफ्टर डूइंग द शूट. इट इज समथिंग विच स्टार्ट्स इन वाइल योर प्रोडक्शन वाइल यू आर प्रोड्यूसिंग. सो द थिंग इज कि अब जैसे मेरे पास ये शॉट है अभी आई टुक इट फ्रॉम निकॉन Z6 और हम लोगों ने इसको जब मैंने इसको शूट किया था तो इस शॉट के ऊपर लाइक इट्स 24 FPS 1920 by 1080 एंड इट्स शॉट ऑन अ फ्लैट प्रोफाइल. ठीक है. अब फ्लैट प्रोफाइल का फायदा ये होता है कि यू कैन सी द कलर्स आर एक्चुअली not very much saturated, or you can see the details in the highlights, you can see the details in the shadows as well, and most of the details are preserved while shooting in the flat profile. अच्छा, आपके पास अगर कैमरास जो हैं अगर वो फ्लैट प्रोफाइल आपको ऑफर नहीं कर रहे तो व्हाट यू कैन डू इज कि आप फ्लैट प्रोफाइल के अलावा यू हैव द ऑप्शन. आप जो है वो आपके पास अगर if it supports the log तो you can use the log, or if it supports the neutral then go for the neutral one. So the thing is कि आपके वो कलर प्रोफाइल जैसे जो आपके जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल जिसमें you have the high contrast, जो आपके more contrasty है, more vivid है. So what they do is they sort of like take the picture and color grade the video or picture, whatever profile you have chosen. So they're going to apply that color profile to the picture and then show it to you. So आपको ये वाली फुटेज ड्यूरिंग द शूटिंग आपको जो आप फ्लैट में शूट करते हैं हो सकता है आपको सैचुरेटेड नहीं लगेगी, आपको ये लगेगी कि ये काफी डल है. ठीक है. लेकिन कलर ग्रेडिंग आपकी आपकी फ्लैट प्रोफाइल के ऊपर बहुत बेहतर होती है. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the footage. Okay, so this is something, I'm coming back to my project panel and go to this new, and I'm going to go for the adjustment layer. All right, so by default it's going to make the adjustment layer as according to the size of my sequence, according to my sequence setting. So my sequence setting is already this full HD resolution, so I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to bring this adjustment layer on the top layer. What I like to do usually is I name it as the color grade, so I should know कि मेरी कलर ग्रेड की लेयर कहाँ पे पड़ी हुई है, किस जगह के ऊपर है. ठीक है. सो दिस इज द कलर ग्रेड जो मैं यहाँ पे लेके आ गया हूँ. अच्छा, अब कलर ग्रेड क्योंकि यहाँ पे तो मेरे पास अभी एक ही वो फुटेज पड़ी हुई है, तो कलर ग्रेड इज गोइंग टू बी अप्लाइड ऑन द कंप्लीट इंटायर प्रोजेक्ट, या फिर आपका इंटायर सीन के ऊपर आप क्या करेंगे कि एक कलर ग्रेड अप्लाई करेंगे. इस वजह से इसको हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि हम इसको एक एडजस्टमेंट लेयर के अंदर लेके आते हैं. सो द रीजन लाइक दिस एडजस्टमेंट लेयर कैन बी एक्सटेंडेड, ठीक है, और कैन बी shortened, and whatever we're going to apply on this adjustment layer is going to reflect on the layers beneath it. In I have 2019 version right now, but onwards as well as 2019 and onwards you have this workspace of color, and this is lovely. This workspace is lovely actually. All right, because if you come over there and you have a lot of options and you have a lot of things, the basic adjustments, and then you have the creative, the curves, the color wheel match, and then you have the HSL secondary, which is hue, saturation, and lightness, and then you have the vignetting. All right, so let's explore some options. What are they? And let's go to the basic correction. So this top one is the basic correction, and what I can do is I can go for the input LUT. LUT stands for lookup tables. Go for browse and go for your cinematic LUTs, and you can find plenty of these LUTs online. All right, and these are all the cube files, and you can try them, you can select them. So let's apply the first one, press OK, and there you go. All right, and once again you can change the intensity or you can change different settings. Let's go for another LUT, and apply that. All right, and you can try different ones. So these are sort of like presets which you can choose, and you can apply them. Some of them are really cinematic in certain situations, so it's all about the situations. I like this one. This is actually good. And if I simply look at the footage before and after, and you're going to see the difference. So you can switch off this track, toggle on and off, and you can see how much contrast this brings in now. And this looks actually good now. All right, so this was it, how it was before in the camera, and this is after applying this LUT, the cinematic LUT. All right, so what I can do is I can further go for the fine tuning, and what I can do is I can change the settings. For example, I can change the white balance to a cold temperature or a warming temperature, and I can adjust it as per my requirement. Also, I can bring in some tint like bluish tint or warming tint if I want to. All right, and let's bring white balance back to a little bit back over there, and you can control the exposure, right? So definitely not overexposed, definitely not underexposed. So I'm going to keep it to a little bit normal side, and you can control the contrast as well. Maybe if you want to make it even more contrasty or less contrasty, and you can control the highlights. So this is going to bring more brightness in my highlight areas, and this is going to control how much intense are the shadows. I can make them a little bit darker, or I can bring some detail in the highlights as well. All right, and I usually don't change these blacks and whites because it's the black and white input. Like for example, if I bring the whites up or bring it down, so it's going to make the black really really black, like um, much more than desired. So let's keep it on 0. Likewise, if you bring your whites down, so it's going to exactly bring the white tone down. So it's just like the limiting the tone, limiting the whole tone, which I don't want. So let's keep it on 0, and you can control the saturation from here. You can bring it, make it like more saturated or less saturated, and I'm happy with this saturation. All right, okay, so let's go to creative now. So in creative we have, like, once again we have like different presets, different looks. Like for example, so these are once again the looks, and what I can do is I can apply any one of them. Like for example, let's try something like gold orange. All right, and you can once again control the intensity, like how much you want to apply. So it's gold orange, and let's apply it to a little bit intensity. So there you are now. All right, and let's get to this thing, faded film. So some people like to bring in a little bit of like a faded film effect, so you can do that. I don't like to sharpen it very much because that's going to bring some digital edge, which is not my personal preference. I can make it more vibrant or saturated once again, and okay, so this is something interesting. I can bring some different tint in my shadows and highlights. So I can bring different tint. For example, if I want to make my shadows as more blue, so this is going to make the shadows as more blue, as you can see. All right. So I'm going to press undo, and what I can do is I can make my highlights blue or make them warm or whatever I want to do in on that color wheel. So I can do that. All right. Okay, so let's get to curve. All right, so curve is really interesting as well. So curve has actually master red, green, and blue. All right. So and over here we have a straight line. It's actually telling me the 4 stops of light. So what is this going to do if I choose this area? So it's like from the dark tones, mid tones, and high tones. So whatever I want to control, for example, if I want to make the mid tones a little bit more brighter, so I can bring them up or bring them down a little bit down. All right. And if I want to make my shadows a little bit more brighter, so you can see I can do that. All right. And likewise, if I want to bring the highlights as a little bit low or high, so I can do that, and I can simply make a curve whatever I want with this clip. So what I can do is, so I've done the undo once again. If I want to change individual colors like RGB colors, for example, if I want to make it a little bit more blue, so I'm going to bring more mid-tone blue in mid-tone. And if I go to red, and I can bring down the red and bring down the green from the midtone, so that's going to make it essentially more and more blue. All right, so it works this way. So you can individually change the colors, you can go crazy with them, but I won't suggest that. All right, so my purpose was only to explain over here, not change it. And let's go to this color wheel. This is once again interesting. What you can do is, once again, you can now change the shadows, midtones, and highlights, all three of them. All right, this one is interesting, the vignette. For example, if I want to bring a white vignette around this thing, so this is going to sort of like giving a dreamy look. जैसे वो होता है ना कि कुछ याद आ रहा है, कुछ memory में कुछ dreamy look देना चाहें, तो what you can do is you can go for this white vignetting. You can adjust the midpoint. You can really go for like this thing, and you can feather it out so it's like soft, or you can adjust the midpoint like this. All right. On the other hand, what you can do is you can make it more dark. Once again, you can adjust the midpoint, so you can make it more round as well, or you can make it sort of like in a box shape, or once again you can feather it, or you can make it hard edged like this. So this is how you bring some vignette in your picture. So I brought a little bit of vignette around the corners. I've made it darker, so this sort of like gives more attention to the center of the frame. So when you are done with your lumetri, what you can do is you can switch it off and switch it on, and you can see the difference. And there is so much difference after color grading. So if you're getting a footage something already contrasty from your camera, you won't be able to get the color grade in a very good way. So that's the first thing to learn. The second thing is, go to Lumetri, and you have plenty of options over there. You can apply the lookup tables, you can go for the basic corrections, you can apply the Lumetri, and then you can adjust whatever parameters you want. Or what you can do is, once again, you can come to your this adjustment layers opacity, and you can apply it according to your own taste. All right. Sometimes some of the students ask me about like bringing a specific tint on the top of a film, like for example, if we want to make it all in sort of like red or something like that. Make sure sorry, that is something from before. इस opacity को आपने remove this, switch off the stopwatch, because that's going to bring and bring a keyframe over there. क्योंकि by default if you change anything in the opacity, what happens is कि उसका by default क्या होता है कि opacity का की फ्रेम ऑन होता है. लाइक अभी हम लोगों ने ये इस क्लिप को सिलेक्ट किया है, तो आप इसको देखिए, इसका opacity का की फ्रेम यहाँ पे स्टॉप वॉच ऑन है. तो अगर मैं इसको कुछ चेंज जरा सा भी करूंगा, तो यहाँ पे ऑटोमेटिकली क्या होगा कि यहाँ पे आपके पास की फ्रेम अपीयर हो जाएगा. So I'm going to do undo, and you can change this toggle animation. ये by default on होती है because it's monitoring the opacity के उसमें कुछ अगर changes चाहिए हो किसी को और animate करनी हो. ठीक है. So अब हम क्या करेंगे कि let's bring that tint thing जो हम बात कर रहे थे. तो हम क्या करते हैं कि let's go to the new item and bring a color matte. So let's bring a color matte. Press OK, and you can choose some color. So that depends what color you want. Like for example, if I want to bring like a really yellowish sort of like tone on top of this, okay, so I press this and I say yellow color matte and press OK, and I apply this on top of this clip. So don't worry, what we are going to do is we are going to go for the blend mode, and in my blend mode I'm going to apply a different blend mode. Like for example, I can go to now screen, and there you go, you have like this thing. Obviously what you need to do is you need to apply it in a very light way. Okay, so this is going to give it sort of like an old film effect, like old negative sort of effect, and you can see that you have to apply it in a very subtle way. So I've just applied the 7% of it. All right, so if you want to apply more, it's going to be like even more harsh. So you can apply like just 5% or 7% of this thing, and make sure your toggle animation is off once again, and you can see the difference of the effect, like what happened over here. All right, all right, so you can toggle from here and you can see the effect. What difference does it make? Okay, so a good thing is what you can do is you can once again double click over here, and maybe if you want to bring some different tint, like make it sort of like red this time, and once again you can manage the opacity and you can see what happens over there. And what you can do is you can change the blending modes actually from screen to anything if you want to make something interesting. So you can try different things and it's going to bring in different color, and it's a different ways in which it's treating this thing. So this thing is actually red and it's bringing in blue color, so it's subtracting the blue reds from there and you're left with the blue. So it works in this way. So you have like different ways to apply that. All right, so this makes us really dead. If you want to apply, if you want, if you're making some something like horror or scary, or maybe if you want to try something like that, like in a vivid light or a hard light, or you can also see the soft light thing in an overlay, and you can control the intensity of this thing. So there are plenty of ways you can use it. I'm not using it right now, so I'm going to remove it, and we only are left with this adjustment layer, which is the color grading layer. Let's make it bigger. And the system I'm working on right now, it's not color calibrated, so I'm looking it's a little screen of my laptop. So whenever I'm editing for the colors, I usually use the bigger screen, a dedicated monitor for this purpose, but it's really late at night and I'm making this tutorial for you guys. So I hope so you can uh, do the color grading in a very good way, and you can please do it on some monitor which is color calibrated. Another way to see the color calibration is export a clip of this thing. Like for example, just export like a frame. All right, and it's going to save it in the place whatever you want to save, and save as JPEG, and send it to yourself on some other device and view it over there as well before like exporting the complete video. So you're going to see the see it maybe in your cell phone as well or other devices, if you do not have the color like balanced monitor, and you if you want to see it in some other devices as well. So if you check it on multiple devices, so that's also a technique to see like if your monitor is not throwing more yellow color and showing you less, because that's what sometimes these monitors, the laptop monitors screens actually do. So that's it. Thank you so much. Bye.